Good morning, it's Saturday, June 18th, and we welcome you to day 2 of our 4th NVA event of the 2022 season. This is our pregame show as we talk about the 4 matches that are on tap for today, plus give you our updated season predictions. We've had some movement in the standings. I'm Ira Thor, joined alongside the man of the match, Nick England, the coach of the match, Matt Prosser, and the interviewer of the match, Noah Chass, as we take you through this morning's matches, starting with one that could be our match of the day, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Central, because one of these teams is from the East Coast. The unbeaten New Jersey Freedom, the only unbeaten team remaining in the league, 6-0 atop the National Coastal as they take on the LA Blaze. Los Angeles comes in 3-3 in the National Central. However, they've lost their last 2 after a hot start. Nick, what do you think in this one?
Well, I mean, when I look at it, again, the day or everything this event so far has been how do teams perform with kind of half rosters or key pieces missing. But the big thing here, Freedom, they're missing the likes of Paul Bolonzik, Matt Seifert, Ian Kapp, Tim Ferreter. There are a lot of starting names that won't be here this weekend. They do have Joe Norman. They've still got guys like Tom Burrell, Matt Buffum. So there's plenty of familiar names, guys that have seen courts and been successful with this roster. But it definitely is worth noting. On the side of the LA Blaze, they've been a little up and down, but we've seen Joseph Cuevas doing a very good job on the right side. Damani Lenore has been an absolute powerhouse in the middle, arguably the most offensive middle in the league.
He's the human highlight reel.
Yeah, he really is. So this is going to be a great matchup to start the day. And like you said, this is easily the match of the day right here to start us off. So excited to see it.
Well, New Jersey could be feeding Joe Norman somewhere near the Felix Chapman type numbers. I don't know if Joe quite gets to 36 today, but if he gets somewhere between 25 and 30, that could allow Freedom to be 7-0. We don't think we've ever had a 7-0 team in the NVA. This could be a first if that happens today. We move on to our 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern time matchup here at the Pierce Sports Center in San Bernardino, where we have, we got Nick England playing again. Are you playing again, or are you going back into retirement like Brett Favre?
It looks like the jersey's coming back on today. Wasn't expecting it, but, you know.
All right, so yesterday I have to apologize. There was a tad bit of disrespect from the show host as I said, Las Vegas would have a chance to win if my man here, went off for about 4 kills, and he went off for 14 kills and was the man of the match. He did the John Cena to me and a full mic, but it's not a mic drop though, because you're still playing today. So does Nick have, I don't know, does he have another 10 kills in that sleeve? We will find out at 12 o'clock. The Ramblers, they have won 3 in a row. They're 6-1 as they lead the American Coastal. They take on what is truly a desperate Chicago Untouchable squad right now. They're 1-6 in the National Central. Matt, you got to watch this one yesterday as Nick had a heroic effort. Your thoughts on this one?
Well, this will be a very entertaining match for sure, Ira. Nick, I hope you got a good breakfast in you and some extra fuel in the tank. But the Ramblers, even a little thin, still have Rattray. You still have some good middles. Obviously, your performance yesterday supported your team very much. For the Untouchables, again, another thin squad. Maybe a little thinner than even what everybody expected as the Stunners took them down yesterday in 3. So I would expect to see a little bit of the same. I'd like to see a response from the Untouchables because they are in a very tight spot based on rankings and their record for the season. But it's going to be an entertaining match for sure. I'm excited to see how you guys rebound on the Rambler side and to see if the Untouchables can kind of make something happen with a thin roster.
Yeah.
And Matt Carnegie certainly showcasing why he, even though he's just joined the Ramblers recently, quickly becoming one of the top middles in the NVA. He's got the numbers to back that up. 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern, we have our 3rd match, and this one becomes more interesting. Every time I pick the Dallas Tornadoes, I lose. So who do I pick today? As they will take on the OC Stunners. The Stunners have won 4 in a row. They're 5-2. They are only behind New Jersey Freedom in that National Coastal Division, but I mean the OC Stunners, they are the defending champions. The Tornadoes have fallen out of first place, as 3-4 overall in the American Central. They are now a full game behind the Utah Stingers. Take us through this 3 p.m. matchup.
Well, this on paper, has potential to maybe be a match of the day quality match, but it just depends on the Felix Chapman and the Dallas Tornadoes we get. Honestly, I was very disappointed in just the fight I saw from them yesterday against Knicks Ramblers. They took that first set and they went down handily in the second, and it never really seemed like they had a chance to take things back. And so I think they'll maybe respond a little bit better. We'll probably see more of that 36 or 36 kill-esque Chapman that we saw a couple weeks ago. I still think the Sunners are well coached. They're probably the deepest team this weekend and the most talented team this weekend. It'll be interesting to see how they match up, but I think it has potential to be one of our highlight matches if we see the Tornadoes that we know they're capable of.
And then our final match of the day, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and that's 9 p.m. Eastern for those who haven't figured out the time zone thing by now. We have the Inland Empire Matadors. This is their building as they are playing for their playoff lives as well, their first action of the weekend. 1-5 overall in the American Coastal. Also taking on the Colorado Kraken. The Kraken still very much alive in the playoff picture. They are 2-4, now third place, one game back in the American Central. Nick, this actually is an intriguing matchup because the Kraken, yeah, they are a expansion team, but they have overachieved this year.
Yep.
And if they can beat the Matadors today, well, you know what? They are going to be playing some meaningful volleyball in these final 3 matches of the regular season.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, so we saw them take the Ramblers to 5 and almost pull off a pretty big upset during event number 3. But I think the real story here is that it looks like pretty clear and cut. Ramblers are going to take the first seed in the American Coastal, and the American Central is being battled out between Stingers and Tornadoes. However, those 2 more at-large bids are competed against between Matadors, Exposure, whoever doesn't get it between Stingers, Tornadoes, and this Kraken squad. So more importantly, we're seeing Kraken have a chance today to take a win away from the Matadors, therefore solidifying their bid to take a playoff spot and be one of those teams in that last event. So this is extremely important for the Kraken and their hopes to make that last event. I'm going to look to guys like Rowdy Martin, Liam Jenkinson, but mostly Alvaro Hidalgo. The shorter Peruvian has been an absolute firecracker this season for the Kraken. And on the side, though, of the Matadors, they have so many pieces doing the right things. They just can't seem to do them all together at the same time. Can Eric Beatty, Vanderbeek, Jordan Wally, can they all put in that effort together? And if they can, this is definitely not going to be any walk in the park for Colorado. So that's going to be a great one to finish us off here at 6 p.m.
For sure. Again, 4 teams that are playing today for the first time this weekend, as the Matadors, the Kraken, and of course now the Freedom and the Blaze, all were off yesterday. Buys today are the Seattle Sasquatch, Southern Exposure, the Texas Tyrants, and the Utah Stingers. All right, we move into our predictions portion of the program, and well, I am no longer in first place all by myself. I have now some company at the top. I'm not comfortable with this, but the man of the match is now tied with me. We are both 21-7 on the season. That's a 750 winning percentage, as Nick has gone off for like 13 out of the last 14, something wild like that. Matt Prosser has some work to do. He is now 18-10 on the year. That's a 641 winning percentage, so he might have to go for an upset here or there. And then No Chas decided he wanted to play along. He had that FOMO, that fear of missing out, so he decided to start playing yesterday. He probably should just go back into not picking, as he is 502 overall. We will see if that changes today.
Right
So Ira, incapable of not throwing shade at his, everyone to his left.
It's only up from here for me. For you?
Or is it? It could go either way. But we're going to start with that intriguing 9 a.m. match, Freedom and the LA Blaze. I get to go first on this one. I mean, I actually was thinking long and hard about this, and this pick was dependent on who New Jersey had, and is it enough to beat an LA Blaze team that, yeah, they've lost a few in a row, but is maybe one of the most athletic teams in the league?
Yeah.
I think this could go 5, but I am going to pick New Jersey here, and they will be the first team to go 7-0.
You said everything I was thinking. For me, Joe Norman's the X factor. I don't think that anyone else is like him on the court for either team. So we look to his performance, and I think he'll be able to carry the load to take Freedom to the win here.
So I'm expecting LA Blaze to take this one. I'm going to pick Blaze for the upset. Give Freedom their first loss of the season. They are thin. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen today.
Yep.
And Blaze really needs to get a good victory under their belt as we go through the second half of the season.
Yeah.
I think this could be a good sort of gut check win, like we saw the Tyrants have yesterday for the Freedom. Short-handed, have some of their heavy hitters, not all of them. I think they will pull it out. And if they do lose, it would be Jake Molnazic's fault because it's his first game playing. So keep that in mind. But I think they're going to pull it out in 5.
See, I am not the only one who throws a little shade here. As,
Goes around.
You know, Noah and Jake have known each other for a couple years here.
That's not fair. Jake can't even defend himself.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He doesn't even know.
He's warming up in the background. He
I
doesn't
told
even
him
know
the
what's
same
being
thing
said
this morning.
here.
He knows.
All right, our 12 o'clock matchup, Ramblers, Untouchables. Well, you're not allowed to pick against yourself, however, are you?
I wouldn't pick against myself even if I didn't have the pride not to. I mean, I feel confident with the guys and get the work done again today, Las Vegas Ramblers.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on this one, Nick. Playing the Untouchables yesterday, they're just a little too thin on their roster this weekend, and you guys, the Ramblers, just have too many weapons.
Agreed. I think Ramblers in 3. I don't think it'll be close.
Nick England was untouchable on the court yesterday and has the best celebrations in the NVA. Ramblers in 3 today. The Untouchables are going to be tiptoeing towards elimination. We move to our 3 p.m. matchup, and another guy who can't pick against his team. Matt, it's the Stunners, the Tornadoes. What you got?
Well, I think this will be a very exciting game. I think dependent upon how the Tornadoes play. You know, again, a little bit thin on their roster, not their best performance yesterday. Hopefully they watched a little video on themselves to make up a game plan that they can stick to, but I got to take my squad, the Stunners, for the victory in this one.
Felix Chapman could always go off and really carry a team, but I think what we saw from your OC Stunners is they're just too deep and too talented and have so many weapons, and they're really coming into form as this later half of the season progresses. I'm taking the Stunners, and also, if you make sure to tune in, I have a pretty interesting story on the league-leading blocker, Nick West, so make sure you tune in pregame to watch that, but I'm taking the Stunners, and I'll say 4.
Anything with Nick West is worth the watch. Probably one of the most entertaining guys we have on the court, not just because of his blocking ability, but just personality-wise. He is certainly an NBA treasure. Now, every time I take the Dallas Tornadoes, bad things happen to me. So I am not taking the Dallas Tornadoes.
I was like, do it. Come on, Ira, do it.
Stand by your. Take a stand for your.
Also, the Stunners right now are probably
Texas Homer over here.
the Stunners are the hottest team in the league right now. They are clicking on all cylinders as they're trying to defend their championship this year. I see no reason this will be different. Stunners in 3.
Yeah, I think the name of the game is the blocking. The Stunners blocking is too much, and I think that's the way you stop Felix Chapman. And so we saw him get slowed down a bit yesterday, and if he's not firing on all cylinders, there's not enough gas in the tank for the rest of that team, so Stunners for me as well.
Now, this 6 p.m. matchup can go any way. We have the Matadors, we have the Kraken. Noah, what you got?
I really think the Kraken are starting to kind of come into their own and really moving from, we're an expansion team to we're a legit team that can compete with anyone, and you saw they competed with the Ramblers, took them to 5. I think the Matadors, like Nick said, have still not really figured things out altogether. I'm going to take the Kraken in a close one.
So, this is where the boys separate from the men, and I am going to do something very unorthodox today, and I am going to take the Inland Empire Matadors in the upset in 5.
So what you hear here at the pregame show is Ira Thor throwing away the lead as Nick England proudly and boldly takes the opposite to take that win. I definitely believe in Colorado Kraken. I'm going with Noah here. And so at the end of today, one of us will be a match above.
I like it.
And I don't think it's any question.
Add the drama.
Well, for me, this is a pretty challenging pick.
Yeah,
right?
it really
thought about
is.
this one a bit as well. I know the Inland Empire Matadors, it's their home gym. They've been right on the cusp of putting together some good matches and getting some wins. But the Kraken has those weapons, and I think they work together better, perhaps, than the Matadors. So I got to take the Kraken in this one. I want to go for the Matadors, but I think the sensible pick is the Kraken for the win.
Well, I've never claimed to be sensible, but sometimes you have to be a little bold if you want to win in the pregame prediction show. So tomorrow, Father's Day 2022, one of us will be in first, one of us will not. It will be me, it will be this guy. I'm a dad of 3, he's a dad of woof, and we will find out tomorrow what the outcome. But stick around, 9 a.m. Pacific time. We have our first of 4 matches today. It's a full day of volleyball here from the Pierce Sports Center in San Bernardino. We hope you enjoy it.
And welcome to the #1 match of the day. I'm Nick England, joined by Matt Prosser. Noah Chass will be joining us on the sideline. We're coming to you live from the Pierce Sports Center in San Bernardino, California. This is the National Volleyball Association. First match of the day, LA Blaze taking on New Jersey Freedom. We're going to talk a little bit more about what to expect, but before we get to that, we're going to throw it to Noah on the sideline with Coach Chaparro from the LA Blaze. Noah, take it away.
Thanks, Nick, and good morning here with head coach David Chaparro. Buenos dias.
Good morning.
Good morning. And so tell me, you have a few new guys out there today. What are you expecting will be different from this team?
So I have two new players today. One setter, the Cuban player, Michael Bastida. He's a good setter, smart, and veteran player, you know. And the other player is the outside, Wilson Aponte, Puerto Rican. He's a good pass. So today, better pass and good setter.
So you're getting a better passer and another setter. What are you hoping that does for your offense?
The offense is, the first man is Joseph Cuevas. You know, you see the last event, Joseph played very good. And Rafa Cruz and my two middle blockers, Damani and Steven. My team is in a good position to play, to win this game.
Well, best of luck, Coach. Thank you so much. Nick, Matt, send it back to you guys.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's funny because that team on paper last year had one of the strongest squads, a lot of guys coming up from Puerto Rico, and this year it's been a slightly different story. However, they're just continuing finding a way to win. We talked about it a little bit this morning, and I'm curious your thoughts on like Damani and Roeder specifically.
Yeah.
But the physicality of this team is something to be noteworthy.
Well, for sure, their physicality is upgraded. Having the new setter like Chapa was talking about, Michael Batista from Cuba, he's really going to bring something to the court. His size is about 6'5", 6'6", very physical, very strong. And then along with Roeder, Cuevas, Belvin, and Damani Lenore, obviously, we cannot forget about him through the middle. The Blaze really do have all the pieces right now. It's just a matter of can they make them fit. And today's a great opportunity for them taking on a Team Freedom that's a little thin on their roster. And so it should be an entertaining match. Hopefully they can get the job done.
Yeah, they are noticeably missing Travis O'Gorman, not here today, one of the guys that was a top 5 kill leader in the 2021 season. But again, when someone's not here, find another way to run the offense. And we've seen that as long as this team can pass, Ricky Massanet, one of the best performing liberos this season for sure.
Definitely.
Then, you get the middles involved, no problem. So.
Right. So for a little more insight from Team Freedom, Noah's got head coach Carlo Edra on the sideline. Noah, take it.
Should get it over there just a second. Having a little bit of difficulty.
Caesar, tell him to go to camera 4, please.
We have confidence in all the other guys we have on there. But yeah, everyone wants to say Joe. Maybe we'll throw in a little bit something else in there so that they kind of want to go to Joe, but we're going with other guys. But we'll see how the game turns, plays out. But yeah, of course, it's no secret. Joe's one of our guys.
And not a new face to the league, but his first time this season, Jake Milnazik back battling a knee injury. How healthy is he, and what are you expecting out of his production?
Jacob, obviously he was like a big question mark throughout the season, but I believe it was about a month ago, saw him in practice. Didn't see any wincing. He was moving around just fine. So Jake said he's good to go, and from what I've seen, he's definitely going to be ready.
Well, I'm excited to see him in this Freedom battle. Appreciate it. Head coach Carlo Edra of the New Jersey Freedom. Guys, I'll send it back to you for now to get this thing started.
Well, apologies for some of those technical difficulties, but to hear and kind of recap, the big answer that we've talked about all day long is Joe Norman feels like the X factor here.
Yeah.
And I don't think that, I would say very confidently that he is the difference. If Blaze can slow him down, that might be just enough, that they've got enough other weapons. But if they don't, he might just be that 20, 25 kill performer that just runs away with this by himself.
Right. Well, everybody in the gym knows that Joe Norman's going to get a lot of set attempts in this match, being that he's 6'10" and in the opposite position, right? But they're also going to have to rely on their middle offense as well with Matt Buffum and Thomas Burrell through the middle, as long as they can pass the ball. Jake Milnazik's a little bit of a wild card, not too sure what to expect, being that this is his first indoor NVA appearance for the season. But we know from previous seasons his talent level and what he can do on the left side is very important for them. But again, Team Freedom, they really are going to have to put a premium on slowing down the LA Blaze offense as well.
And something we haven't talked about too much is Daniel Vanegas, number 11 for Freedom, newcomer. He played his first event last couple weeks ago there.
Right.
But he's someone that's got over a decade of international experience. He's been out of the game for a couple of years, so he's been working his way back in. Definitely someone that they can rely on, and we'll see how he's been able to continue getting back in shape, getting back into that ball touches there. Because the big thing we talked about yesterday, as an outside hitter, reps are paramount. If you can't pass, you're not a valuable outside.
Right.
And so since he's not able to train with the team, based on where he's living currently, it's just all about how can he get meaningful reps, and we'll see how that transpires today.
And a big part of that comes from their training schedule, you know, especially for LA Blaze. They've been a little bit in the same boat where they've got some new players that maybe haven't been in their practice gym as much as the rest of the squad, so that kind of continuity of the players playing together and that familiarity of teammates is something that both of these teams are going to have to work through in this match, because we've got some new faces on the squad for each group.
And it is worth noting, something we haven't talked too much about, but at this point in the season, rosters are locked, so no new names are added. Anyone that you may not have seen has been on the roster all season. And in order to be eligible to play in the championship event, they must be at 2 events. So this is the first event that if you haven't seen someone this season, you will see them here in some capacity. And if you haven't yet, that means you won't see them for championship weekend. They can still come, I guess, for event number 5, but they will not be eligible for championship event. So it's just kind of interesting to see how that unfolds.
Well,
so some of these guys have been playing for all season long.
Yeah, good clarification, Nick. I mean, it is important to explain that the rosters are locked, and just because there's new faces here today doesn't mean that there's going to be additional new faces. It's because that they have to be in those 2 events like you talked about in order to be eligible to play in championship weekend at the first weekend of August. So it's important that those players get the opportunity and the court time and play by the rules, obviously.
Yeah, now this one's going to be super interesting because LA Blaze coming in right now at 3-3. They're going to be battling. I mean, Chicago Untouchables, like we said, looks like their fate is all but sealed. But you know, Blaze right now, they're kind of competing. I guess they're almost locked in for that 4th spot on the national conference because of Tyrants, Freedom, Stunners. But they really want to get a win here this weekend, and that's going to kind of solidify that they are not catchable by Seattle Sasquatch or by Chicago Untouchables.
Yeah, that's another great point. 2 things to take away from that. They really do want to separate themselves from the rest of the teams in that division, right? But also they need to create that continuity that we've been talking about, and as David Chapa talked about in that pregame interview, get better as the end of the season now is upon us and start creating that momentum and team dynamic going into those last 2 events of the season.
Yeah, definitely a good recap there. And real quick, we'll take a look at the starting lineups. On the side of the LA Blaze in the middle, Damani Lenore and Steven Roeder. On the right side, they're going to have Joseph Cuevas. On with the setter there, Michael Bastida, number 16. On the outside, we're going to see Rafa Cruz, as well as number 5, Wilson Aponte, who has played with Blaze previously. We haven't seen him yet this season. He'll be joined by Ricky Massanet, number 11, in the libero jersey. On the side of Team Freedom, in the middle, Matt Buffum, Tom Burrell. On the outside, Daniel Vanegas, as well as Jacob Milnazik. In the libero jersey, John Cunningham. Matt Elias is running the ship as the setter. And the tall tower on the right side, number 16, Joe Norman. Definitely someone to keep your eye on. Number 16, sporting his American flag headband as always. All right, Matt, what do you think? How's this one going to go? We had our morning predictions, but to dive in a little bit more, what do you think we're going to see here?
Well, I think this is going to be a battle for sure between these 2 teams. For Team Freedom, I mean, they're extremely thin. They have no backups on the bench. So the guys that they have, that's what they got to go with. And for the Blaze, some new faces. And that's a good start for the LA Blaze with some nice emotions as well.
Aponte comes out with a nice pass and a big swing down the line. A little bit smaller, a true 0-2 for this squad. Aponte's job is definitely going to be if he can get a refined bit of passing, the squad will get involved offensively.
Well, it's very important for the 0-2 hitter to pass.
Yeah.
As its #1 priority, right?
Yep.
If they do get some attacks and attempts, they take advantage of it, they score those ones, or at least, keep the rally alive. They just don't make a lot of errors. And right on cue, Joe Norman getting his first point of the match from the left side.
Bastida, someone we have not seen for some time here in the league. He's played with the OC Stunners back when they were the Blizzard, as well as some time with the Stunners. He coached them for a little bit. He's been involved with the LA Blaze, someone that's been around and involved with the league for some time, but just at different points in his playing and coaching career. Vanegas chips it in, dug by Cruz. Bastida out to Joseph Cuevas, into the waiting hands of Norman and Buffum. They shut that one down with authority.
A huge stuff down by Norman and Buffum. Wow.
Norman was all the way over the net there. That was a fantastic block move. Aponte airs that one out. Great set, or great pass. Goes to Roeder and a reset. Cuevas off the high hands. Easy dig for Melnazic. Vanegas now managing with a tip over the top. Aponte dug, another opportunity for freedom. Buffum block touch. Cuevas plays off blocker defense. Aponte again, dug by Elias. The rally continues. High ball. Norman manages, throws. Bastida is recovered by Rafa. Takes out the entire bench in a free ball to buy some time. Once again, and a big swing. Matt Buff Daddy Buffum putting it away for the point. What a rally early on.
Very early action there. Well played from both sides. Nice defense, good hustle, taking out the team's bench over there for LA Blaze, but then through the middle, Buffum scoring on that nice cutback swing.
Man, we have seen guys just taking down equipment all weekend long. Brandon Rattray tackled a camera yesterday.
That was a violent crash, I thought for sure.
Yeah.
Rattray was going to lose a finger on that one.
Good hand dig, but not enough. Better swing. Wilson Aponte bringing in a ton of firepower right now. Roeder's putting some pressure, throws it back, but it's an easy ball. Norman gets the back set. A one-handed punch dig. Rafa tries to track it down, but the ensuing pressure from Joe Norman is too much for the LA Blaze to handle.
Well, really do like the effort level being shown by LA Blaze. Kind of this new look LA Blaze team. Cuevas getting a high and tight haircut before this weekend's event. If he looks a little different to you guys watching at home, that's because he lost.
He's not rocking his dreads anymore.
Some hair on the top of that head. And truly is a new look LA Blaze.
Yeah. One-handed set, Roeder misconnection. Bastida looking to get him involved early. Definitely, he might be new at the helm in terms of setting hands, but definitely knows that the way that this team wins offensively is finding Roeder and Damani Lenore. Buffum gets a good result, and that's going to be over. Yep, Michael Bastida does a nice job.
Now, I agree with that call. Joe Norman was clearly over the net. That ball did not break the plane. I think we're going to see a challenge, but it's not worth the challenge, I don't think, especially at this point of the match. We talked about this yesterday a little bit, Nick. You know, when's the right time to use a challenge? At 5-3 in set number 1 of the match, I don't think it's a really pivotal point to use a challenge. Just play on and, you know, continue.
Yeah, you know, and I don't think it's worth the point at 5-3, but also the downside of losing a challenge here.
So a replay is being called by our first official. Some explanation from Joe Aguilar, our down ref, second official here, but
And so it looked like from our down ref's view, he saw Norman was not over. Up ref called over. That's why it's a replay. There's a disagreement from the referees.
thanks, Noah. Ball never lies. Serve goes out of bounds, and LA Blaze will take the point. Nick, I know how much you love that cliche of the ball never lies, even when we do have the challenge system in place.
Oh, yeah. It's always convenient, right? You got to use it to your own advantage.
Figured to just get it out there early on, and
Yeah.
you know.
Big swing there, Tom Burrell, the high flyer in the middle.
So that's going to be super key for Team Freedom. If they can pass the ball and then run their offense through the middle as well, get their quick middles, Buffum and Burrell attacking and activated, Nick, like you always say, it'll be very important for them. Yeah, but he didn't touch the ball.
Jump serve from Norman leaves that one short. And another missed serve exchange there from Cuevas.
Back-to-back service errors, unfortunately, from both sides.
Vanegas ends that serving drought for both teams and gets a good result. Finds a nice dig to back it up as well. High ball for Aponte. And now Vanegas swinging, and he gets the touch, deflects, and that's going to be a point as that one falls into the corner. Team Freedom happy to get that point. At 8-4. Right now, the defense from Team Freedom is really pulling through for them. They're getting a lot of great block touches and extending some rallies to get the swings they want. That one just wide. Rafa Cruz confidently lets it go.
Well, I like the aggressive serving from Team Freedom, trying to get LA Blaze out of system, but there's a fine line, Nick, between serving too aggressively and giving up the service errors,
Yeah.
and just putting the pressure on the passers of LA Blaze.
Elias back with the aggressive D-ball, but that one's gonna find the antenna. LA Blaze happy for the free point there.
Matt Elias going with that against the flow set, sending it all the way back to the right side to Joe Norman, but just missing it down the line and into the antenna.
Cruz targets Milnazic. And Buffum is deflected by Damani Lenore. Roll shot over the top, picked up by Aponte. Back row has to be the option. And that's going to be a back row attack from Cuevas. His foot hits the 3-meter line there. Cannot touch that line.
Yeah, for LA Blaze, those are the little errors that they have to clean up if they want to get the victory here today. You cannot sacrifice a point, especially on the counterattack by that 3-meter line violation out of the back row attacker.
It's a great point. You talked a little bit about error mitigation on the service line, but that's going to be the name of the game for Blaze. And right there, a little bit too aggressive, I think. Again, you know, I like that they're looking for their middle, but with a new setter, and I think that's just forced a bit.
I like that set,
Yeah,
and that is
I
a
do.
play that has to be incorporated. However, I just don't know if the connection between Lenore and the setter are quite there yet for Bastida.
And now Aponte hits the antenna.
Just like that, 3 quick points over to Team Freedom.
And something worth noting about the setter, Bastida, is that while he is very experienced, he only had 1 day of practice with this squad. So
Yeah.
getting that middle connection is something that needs to be worked on.
Backside to Cuevas. Good dig from Burrell. And now Norman takes his swing on the D-ball and finds that one in down the line. Wow, Team Freedom really turning it on right now. Love to see that dig there from Tom Burrell. One of the interesting things about this squad being from the New Jersey region, a lot of grass volleyball. So a lot of their middles play a ton of outdoor ball as well. Very well-rounded players and not kind of that stereotypical middle blocker that struggles back row. Buffum and Burrell play some fantastic all-around volleyball. So you'll see some runs open up when these guys are serving, as the case is here. But that's going to be a timeout, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Back into the action here. LA Blaze seeing if a little bit of a timeout can calm things down by 7 points already. This one is getting off the rails fast. Team looking a little bit rattled, and right now you got to be seeing if there's any personnel changes that they might be utilizing. And really, I think their option is Charles Belvin, someone that they're utilizing that he might be coming in as an outside, as a right side, even potentially a setter, as based on what Coach Chapa has told us. But Damani Lenore finally connecting with Bastida in the middle. Big offensive kill there. Glad to see that little timeout paying off.
Here's the thing for LA Blaze, Nick, and trying to kind of figure them out, right? What makes them tick? They're a very emotional team. They like to make the big plays, right? Yeah. And Charles Belvin is one of the most electric, dynamic players in the league.
Yes.
But he's on the bench. So, you know, they're trying to create some emotion and urgency. They're just missing one piece on the court, and I think it's Belvin.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been kind of homers for him in a sense, but it's because we're such fans. Like, he's electric, like you said, but he also scores efficiently. His thing is the more consistent his game gets, the more reliable he is on the court. And I think that they're looking for a little bit more consistency than maybe he provides.
Yes,
but
that's definitely a good point. The consistency is exactly what is required for LA Blaze, and that might be the biggest question mark from their side as well.
But it's just at the same time, if you see a missed swing coming like that, that's several back row attacks that don't go his way for Cuevas. It's like maybe roll the dice and get the energy out there. So.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it a shot. It's 15-8 in set number 1. Couple hitting errors from Cuevas already.
And there it is. Chapa nods down, Belvin, get your shirt off. Service ace against Cruz. And LA Blaze, normally we like to see them living up to their name, kind of bringing that spark, but right now it feels like it's getting smothered.
Yeah, not so much. Team Freedom doing a nice job. Pressure from the inline, Elias getting that service ace, but then also at the net with their block and defense.
Massanet airs that one out, and that's going to be Aponte. Chips that one down the line, but it does not matter. There's a lot of freedom in the net right there. The middle connection, Matt Buffum getting it done. Good pass by Massanet. Cruz out of the back row, hammers that one into zone 1. Nice swing, cut back over the shoulder. He needed that one desperately to get things moving.
And the Blaze really do need to find a piece here to kind of level out the ship a little bit.
Wow, what a set, one-handed right there. Played off the ceiling by Blaze, a free ball opportunity. Cunningham, Elias, Buffum, and that's the point right there.
Again, through the middle in transition, I think that's the third time for Team Freedom in set number 1 that they've ran a play to score a point in transition from either Buffum or Burrell. And right now, the LA Blaze just can't figure out how to stop that.
Float down the line, that one goes just wide. Aponte follows it all the way. And now we see Tyler Padayo coming in as a serving substitution for Steven Roeder. Padayo, one of the guys that is consistently used either as a backup libero or a serving sub. See if they can get a little bit more defensive effort after the serve here.
That was a bit of a trap set by Team Freedom. Matt Elias leaving Joe Norman a little low and inside, kind of stacked over on that right side of the court. So a nice block for LA Blaze and perhaps a little momentum now. Still down by 6 though. I've got a ways to go here.
Yeah, and again, we always talk about the importance of kind of just understanding game state. We'll get into that in a minute real quick. Norman gets set once again, and he swings that one off the block of Lenore and Cruz. But sometimes when you're down by this much and you're just looking flat, the goal is just get momentum going. Even if it's not to win any, win the set necessarily, it's to be ready to go when set number 2 rolls around, because Blaze looks like they're a bit asleep at the wheel.
They do. They definitely showed up, but they just haven't been able to kind of counteract the pressure from Team Freedom, especially in transition.
And I guess the story is, you go look on the other side, you got Buffum and Norman blocking someone like Aponte. This is about an 8 to 10 inch difference in
size
height.
advantage clearly on the side of Team Freedom, except for Damani Lenore when he can jump like that. Wow.
We talked about the offensive presence that he brings, potentially as the most offensive middle in the league. Every single swing is ready to be put up on an ESPN highlight reel there, but it's just finding the passing consistency. And if they can do that with guys like Ricky Massanet, then they got plenty of chances here. Cuevas pushes Vanegas deep and off the block. Bastida not able to slow that one down enough for Cuevas to find the dig.
Yeah, and that's a good offense from Team Freedom.
Vanegas puts a little bit of some extra on that one and sends it long.
LA Blaze just having a hard time getting back within 6 points. I mean, they're just constantly facing a 6-point deficit, and now 14 serving 20. They're going to run out of time here pretty quick.
Milnazic is the only option after that pass. Tries to go line to challenge and misses the hands there of Bastida with a nice disciplined block. Milnazic's been struggling just a little bit in the serve-receive game so far, but as we said, coming off a knee injury, things like that, some of that lateral movement, sometimes you get a little instability and lose a little bit of confidence to make some of the moves you might normally make. Not struggling to find the swing though. Cruz going headlong in. Catches our baseline camera with a stream live on TikTok there before that one goes down, but we see Blaze continuing to just exude confidence and effort, but just not able to get it to go their way. And Burrell continues.
And you gotta love the effort being put out by LA Blaze, and that results in a point for Freedom, but he follows it up with a service error, so hopefully they can turn that effort into some more point scoring opportunities for LA Blaze, Nick.
Yeah, really be interesting to see. And, if there's one guy I'm always talking pretty fondly of that might get that to happen, Nicholas Dennis, number 18, comes in as a defensive specialist, one of their, potential outsides or liberos, spent the first half of the season playing libero, puts a ton of heat on the jump serve to see if they can get something started. But Freedom all too ready and go right back to the middle.
Again, the passing of Team Freedom right on the money, able to run that quick attack through the middle, that time to Buffum. And you know that Elias wants to utilize that connection because it's paying off for them right now.
Float from Elias, targets Massanet, gets the overpass, and a smart play by Buffum. He points to his head too, saying, yeah, too much brain power up there. It's crazy though, we don't see Doug Zema, who's in the chat watching his boys from home. We see, you don't see Matt Seifert also know Paul Tall-Balanzik, the 7-footer. But there are so many middles on this team that you've got Buffum and Burrell just getting the job done. Bastida with one of the most broadcasted, approach swings there, trying to go on 2 and just puts that one into the net.
Yeah, not unfortunately the result he was looking for. I don't necessarily think that was a bad idea,
No.
But it was pretty obvious what he was attempting to go for.
Massanet with a good pass. Aponte swings and gets the U's off the hands. He's been swinging quite well. They just got to keep getting him involved. And Bastida leaves that one short. Not quite finding the offensive arm swings he might hope for. And that's gonna take us to the end of set number 1 there as Team Freedom takes that with a final score of 25-17. We'll be right back after a brief break. Don't go anywhere. All right, well, we're getting back into it here after an authoritative win, 25-17 in the first set. New Jersey Freedom taking down the LA Blaze. As they don't have any substitutions, there are no personnel changes on the side of Freedom. Looking across the net, LA Blaze looking like they're going to try to run that one back. We were talking a little bit during the break about the absence of maybe some energy from Charles Belvin. Interesting to see Coach Chaparro deciding that they don't need it just yet. Not sure if I agree with that, but that's why sometimes I guess, Matt, you and I are sitting over here. Then again, I'm still playing and you're still coaching. So I think we're a little qualified to have an opinion on the matter.
Yeah, but maybe Chapa knows something we don't know. And I'm sure there's a reason to the decision-making for LA Blaze. However, they have to find something. They're missing just something to really get their team to come together, whether or not it's a good play or a bad play, just some consistency, especially on the offensive side.
Back set to Norman. Norman hammers that one home. Bump set, back set, tipped over from Cuevas. Misconnection there once again. Quick set to the middle, and Buffum in the middle, slamming that one home. Set to Aponte, punches that one through, kept alive. Milnazic sends it over just to give them a chance to reset. Bastida tries to go on 2 and is able to use the hand of number 8.
So I expect to see more action on the offensive side from Bastida that time and throughout this match. That was a good option to go with that attack on 2, right? In transition, catch the block off guard and score the point.
See the question in chat asking about how the playoff format works. Stick around during the first timeout. Whenever that rolls around, I'm going to break that down fully so you know exactly what to expect, and so that picture can kind of get put together for you. In the meantime, we're back in the action as Aponte chips that one, tries to find high hands, but unable to do so.
Nick, my question is, will you be contextualizing the playoff structure during that first timeout?
That's what we try to do, paint the pretty picture so the fans at home know exactly what's going on. Event 4 here underway. There are 5 events in the regular season, and event number 6 is our final event, the playoff that 8 teams will qualify for. So stick around, we'll explain all that shortly. Milnazic with the jump serve. Massanet more than ready. And Roeder ready to put the finishing touches on that one. Good connection there, beats the double block of the New Jersey Freedom.
Yeah, that's a good sign for LA Blaze. They have to run some offense through the middle. Other than Damani Lenore, obviously, Roeder being that guy.
Buffum with the pass means Vanegas, wow, sharp 4-4, gets a hold of that one. All because Buffum got a great pass. It means the middles are isolated.
Yeah, that was a breakdown on the LA Blaze block there as Roeder jumped on the middle and then left Cuevas one-on-one on the left side. Easy point for Freedom.
Little miscommunication between Aponte and Massanet there. Got each other crossed up in the serve receive. That's going to be an ace there from Buffum. And I just talked about how impressive the service runs can be for New Jersey Freedom between Burrell and Buffum. And bringing it live into action right away. Middle back to Roeder, dug by Buffum. Vanegas with a bump set. Milnazic swinging, misses that one in a pipe.
Well, Buffum with the opportunity to get a nice dig there in the back court. I like that attack from Milnazic, just not getting it over the net, though.
Roeder the float serve. Milnazic battles, and Vanegas is the option. And he is the answer, swinging down the line from 8 feet off the net. Too much heat for the LA Blaze to handle. Norman with a big toss and a big result. Lenore able to track it down. Massanet sends it over. Cunningham undeterred. And Aponte keeps it alive, and Massanet pokes it over. Elias goes back to Burrell, and Burrell wasting no time, hammering that one down. Man, the middles from Freedom. It does not matter which 2 they have. They've got 5 great options, and these 2 are doing a brilliant job.
Yeah, it's really strong showing, especially service line pressure from Joe Norman, and then middle attacking in transition for Freedom is paying off heavily for them today.
Norman misses that one, and sometimes, Matt, we talk about serving responsibilities, and as someone's coaching the OC Stunners, I can only imagine it's a bit of a conversation for you guys in terms of, you know, how guys, what they should be going after, what serves they should be hitting. Talk a little bit about that. And
yeah, I think a good strategy to utilize is you have your jump float serve guys that obviously they need to be in, and you want them to hit spots, right? And you've got guys with good, consistent jump serves, but might not be massive point-scoring ace servers. So you want them to hit the spots as well and really attack the seams. Then you have the guys that have basically the green light, right? to give themselves a good toss and just hammer away at it. And you're okay if they miss a few, but
Right.
if they're missing every single time, then you got to make an adjustment. And you kind of have like a 3-tiered system in terms of what your serving strategy wants to be from the inline.
Yeah, definitely, and that's where you see, Norman is that green light server most assuredly. You're willing to let him miss a couple, and
Yeah.
that's
Because you also know that you're going to get a couple of points from
Right.
him, and then also ones that aren't points, they're going to take the opponent out of system.
Exactly.
Right.
I love that. Great insight. And, that's the importance of those consistent serves from Buffum and Burrell as well. Just even him out. Cuevas misses long there. And unfortunately, after all that discussion, the thing that we do have to talk about is when you're down by points and a bit and kind of that energy, you really need to kind of mitigate missed serves and start playing more points in general. So LA Blaze got to find a little bit of consistency right now. Massanet with a heroic one-handed stab to keep that one alive. Norman rips out a nice dig deep in the court from Cuevas. Transitions to swing. Doug kept alive, and Vanegas sends it deep. Challenges Massanet. 2 goes over, bumps at Rafa Cruz, gets a reset, not coverable. Matt Elias hands too steady for that one. Damani Lenore not able to cover up the outside. Rafa Cruz.
Yeah, so unfortunately for the LA Blaze, they're having a hard time scoring the points on these longer rallies, right? Especially as the rally ensues, the sets start to get a little bit tighter, which is not going to help LA Blaze because of the size of Team Freedom's block.
Vanegas is bringing the heat, and that's a net from Milnazic. Good call from Joe Aguiar. Man, those were some big-time serves from Vanegas. Milnazic is struggling a bit to find some of his consistency. He's in the right place, no surprise, but you can tell it's been a minute, and the game plays quick, so when you're trying to kind of get back into it, it can take some time. However, LA Blaze not putting any pressure back on them with the serving run that is currently underway.
Yeah, that's back-to-back service errors for LA Blaze that they really do need to tighten that up. Put the ball in play, try to create some tight situations for Team Freedom, but they're just giving points away at this point.
Aponte is the target. Perfect pass means Lenore, but I don't know that. Okay, they did get a touch. Bastida's been quite aggressive, going over on 2 quite a bit.
I would be too if you're not getting a lot of production from your outside hitters, and you got to be kind of sneaky and quick, especially when the block that's in front of you. So Bastida doing a nice job that time.
There it is. Lenore finds a great serve, but a great pass. But Steven Roeder doing a nice job, reaches out outside the body and shutting Buffum down for one of the first times this match.
Roeder with a nice shutdown. Good commit block.
Milnazic blocked again, back to back. Bastida and Roeder getting it done. Definitely a welcome bit of energy for the men in red and white over there. LA Blaze needed that desperately, and just like that, Matt, 10-10.
Just like that, you can tell the LA Blaze right on the cusp of just creating some momentum, getting a couple of nice blocks. There's a great dig. Chase down now, a free ball back to Freedom.
Norman the D-ball option, and this one too much heat, but the ceiling keeps it alive, and it ricochets out. A quick note, that is our one FIVB modified rule, is that the ceiling here is live. We just keep that rule that way, but depending on what venues we might be at, it allows to just make sure that the play does not stop prematurely with the whistles. So ceiling is live here. Outside to Aponte. Bastida gets taken out early. And Aponte goes again, finds that one through the block of Buffum and Norman.
Well, Aponte giving up what looks like a good solid 8 to 10 inches of height to the blockers of Freedom, but finding a way through that time for the point.
Bastida gets a friendly tape bounce. Nice dig by Rafa Cruz once again. Elias ready to dig. Vanegas bumps that out to Norman. Dug by Massanet in transition. Roeder jousts at the net. Now Rafa to Cuevas. And Cuevas blocked down by Norman.
Interesting call there. The linesman called it in. First official called it out. And the points being awarded to LA Blaze.
Joe Norman not fighting this one at all, so Coach Carlo Edra looking to his guys to help him determine if he needs to challenge or not. They have a little discussion, and they're ready to move on. Well played by Cuevas. Bastida continues. Man, he is hammering that serve. But there is no problem for the side of Freedom. A great pass means a great kill once again from Buffum in the middle. If you don't already, make sure to follow Matt Buffum on Instagram for your Middle Monday content every Monday. He posts some of his favorite clips of Middles getting the job done. Sometimes it's his clips,
this
sometimes
guy right now
it's
as a former middle blocker
international.
myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe it's Buff Daddy is the Instagram handle. Cruz on an aggressive approach line, leaves that one short just under the tape. Freedom more than ready.
Matt Buffum VB.
There you go.
Buff Daddy was definitely not him.
I think he's got 2 accounts. Melnazic launches that one long. As we've seen Blaze make more serves, the rallying is going their way. We'll see what they can get done here. Nice dig by Massanet. Roeder keeps that one alive, and Cruz sends it over. Vanegas is the option. Vanegas is dug. Roeder sends it. Norman tight. Rafa Cruz one-on-one. Sends it back to Norman with express mail. What a huge block move from number 10. And a 1-point lead. LA Blaze for the first time in recollection here, playing from ahead. Missed connection from Buffum, tries to go sharp once again. Ricky Massanet standing in with a bit of a helmet on there. He is on the 10-foot line, ready to find another dig there.
Yeah, Massanet has been a huge factor in this momentum change and surge from LA Blaze.
Oh, and another serve from Aponte, gets the overpass, and that's a kill from Roeder. Might have been off balance, but he was certainly the answer. All right, at 16-13, that's a technical timeout, which means it's time to talk a little bit about the NVA playoff structure.
I'm going to take a seat for this one. Go on,
so,
take it away, Nick.
The way this works, we have 12 teams that are split up across 4 different conferences in 2 divisions. We have the American and National divisions. You've got the American Coastal and American Central conferences and the National Central and National Coastal conferences. So the number 1 seed from each of those 3-team conferences automatically gets a bid to event number 6 to make up the first 4 teams. Among the remaining 4 teams in the division, the top 2 highest with standings will go. Now what that means is one 3-team conference can be completely represented from one division. So it's definitely not just the top 2 seeds. I know it's a little wordy for me to explain. If you need a little more information, go check out NVAUSA.com. You'll be able to see all of the teams with their current standings and who is currently in the race to make those qualifications. But right now it's looking like on the side of the National, it's set up to be Team Freedom, OC Stunners, LA Blaze, and Texas Tyrants. A little bit closer race on the other side in the American. Las Vegas Ramblers are definitely in that first contending spot. And currently, it looks like the entire National Central, or the American Central of the Colorado Kraken, Utah Stingers, and Dallas Tornadoes are all ready to make an appearance. So definitely something to keep an eye on as this event and next event progress. Also, a quick plug for next Saturday, event number 5. We have our All-Star match. First time we've ever done this. So at the end of this event, teams will be voting for top players from each of their divisions to be representing them in a national versus American NVA All-Star game to be played Saturday night. There will be opportunities for fans to vote and help select several of those players in the week following this event. So be sure to follow us on all social media accounts, but especially Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, where we produce most of our daily content. And thus ends my NVA
Can I come
rant
back
and
in
plug.
now?
Yeah, Matt, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Nick. But well done, sir, by you. And I can't believe how you said all that information without taking a breath.
Yeah.
Work.
Back into it. Cruz brings the heat, breaking the hands of Buffum there. 17-15. This is the LA Blaze we wanted to see, and it's really off of what feels like the defense of Rafa Cruz and Ricky Massanet started extending some of those rallies and giving their guy a chance to see a couple more swings. Rotor short. Norman doesn't get an approach, but it does not matter. The 6'10 giant on the right swings through the high hands of that block. Gets a great point.
A big swing by Joe Norman, as expected. LA Blaze really has got to tighten up their backcourt defense. I think middle back went in the wrong direction that time. Got stuck behind the block, and they couldn't react in time to get the touch.
Aponte gets a good move there. That was not a net. I would challenge that all day long. Ball. Yep. You and I both immediately saw that. What happened there, that ball goes through the hands of Burrell, and as he basically digs it with both of his hands, it hit the net coming up through, but he did not look like he touched it there. I definitely like this challenge from Coach Edra. And Matt, we talked about important times to use them.
Yeah.
Down by a couple here at 18-16. This is the time
to use a challenge for sure, especially when it's as close as it is. And this is a pretty important point of set number 2 here for Team Freedom to stay within striking distance, as they're currently down by 2 points or 1 based on the reversal of this call.
Yeah, that's always one of those interesting things that this is kind of going to sound dumb when it's said, but it's interesting as a player. Since the point is now awarded at 18-16, it's almost like this could be worth a 2-point swing going back to 17-17,
right.
You know? And so down from 2, they're going to instead be tied up at 17. It's tough with this being sideways. We'll get a look here shortly. Matt, we're contorted at a fun angle trying to see this one. Looked like no net touch to me, but it's hard to tell. Call's confirmed, so he did in fact get it.
It looks like the bottom of his fist maybe just caught it, and it was maybe too close to overturn the call on the court.
That's interesting, because again, those are kind of those trust ones that when you ask your guy and he tells you he didn't, does not look good when you get that wrong.
One of those times when the video doesn't lie.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Burrell might not have felt the net, so he was pretty adamant that he didn't touch it.
Yeah.
And you and I both thought that he didn't touch it as well, so the epiphany of a micro touch.
Yes. And just like that, you know, maybe you get, and that's the other thing, you know, slows the game down a little bit.
Yep.
Let's Cuevas go back there and think about that serve a little bit.
Agreed, a sort of a modified timeout, if you will. Let them, you know, take as much time as they want to get the call correct, but then that also does ice the server a little bit.
Vanegas leaves that one short, a little displeased with himself. Getting it back to those points, kind of like we were harping on LA Blaze earlier. Time to miss serves and time not to. And right now, Team Freedom need to clean that up a bit. Playing behind from 2. See if Rafa Cruz can extend this rally and give Blaze some continued life. Not to be the case. Burrell, big kill out of the middle.
Yeah, and you cannot serve John Cunningham, the libero for Team Freedom, an easy lollipop jump float serve like that. Okay, he ate that one up and put it right on the money. Elias goes through the middle and scores that quick point.
Bump set to Cuevas. Wow. That was a very quick bump set. Massanet reversing the court there as the setter, and Cuevas ready to work with it.
Yeah, you're right, Nick. A great set from Massanet, but credit to Cuevas, who was ready to hit that ball as well.
Little substitution here. Alex De Castillo going to be replacing Aponte. And Tyler Padayo replacing Damani Lenore. So this is going to be a blocking substitution, I believe, with Castillo trying to bring him in, maybe slow down the D-ball offense from Joe Norman, replacing a little bit of the shortage of size there from Aponte. Triple block, gets a nice block touch. D-ball from Cuevas, goes to Norman. Play is kept alive, that one's eligible. Cruz gets a good touch. Cuevas tries to find it again, but a tip over. Elias saves it. The tip battle continues. Cuevas with a third attempt, dug by Norman. Melnazic hammers that one through, and that point is going to go to Team Freedom. It may not have been a pretty point, but both those teams putting the helmet on and ready to scrap.
Well, that wasn't the prettiest point of the match for sure, Nick. You said it. Couple of missed opportunities by LA Blaze to get a good solid attack in transition, but then the effort from Team Freedom to run that dig down on the other side of the net to bring it back and extend that rally, finally getting the point from Melnazic on the left.
Austinette, perfect pass. Bick from Cruz misses that one wide, or long, sorry. And now, just like that, LA Blaze has lost their lead. Freedom ties it up 20-20, and that's going to be a coach timeout right there from Coach Chaparro. We'll be right back in the final leg of set number 2. Don't go anywhere. If you're just joining us, I'm Nick England, joined by Matt Prosser, Noah Chast on the sideline, and Ira Thor taking a little breather here before he rejoins the crew, taking the helm for the play-by-play next match. Thanks for stopping by. The NVA, that's the National Volleyball Association, is match number 1, day number 2, gets underway here in San Bernardino, California. And Aponte wastes no time opening the lead back up by 1. If you're an LA Blaze fan, you got to be a fan of number 5. Might be a little short in stature, but he's playing pretty big today.
He's got some fire and some energy in that shoulder, that big swing down the line, not afraid to swing against Joe Norman, who's 6'10".
Cunningham once again is the questionable target, but he puts a little extra sweat on that ball and slides through Elias's hand. We saw that several times yesterday as well. And now, Team Freedom calling the timeout. LA Blaze got their game plan established, and we'll be right back. The pressure mounting for Team Freedom. Well, that was a brief 2-point run as LA Blaze answered back nicely out of their timeout. Bastida continues the pressure, gets the overpass. Here is the Blaze opportunity. Aponte is the option, and Aponte is the answer. Number 5 is having himself a match right now, quickly approaching double-digit kills for a team that is struggling a bit offensively. A welcome addition. Bastida leaves that one short, but again, you know, that's an okay miss in my book. He just generated 3 positive points, was getting overpasses. So
Yeah, I totally
obviously,
agree with you, Nick.
You never want to miss serve, but he just opened the game right back up for LA Blaze.
Yeah.
So. Milnazic missed his last one long. Definitely want to see him keep this one in. Unable to do so, and that's going to bring us to set point here. LA Blaze coming alive in the second set. Maybe finding a little bit of rhythm and from a Team Freedom that's been undefeated thus far.
Well,
this would be a
after
big win.
Timeout at 2020 from Coach Chapa. The Blaze have come out nicely. Now it's set point for them.
Vanegas is the answer, number 11. He's kind of had himself a nice match so far, playing a lot of consistent volleyball. Interested to see how the game continues progressing for him. Easy pass in system, backside. Cuevas loses that one, but Elias gets caught outside his body. And that's going to be LA Blaze sneaking one here at the second set. We'll be right back. Getting back into the action here, courtside at the Pierce Sports Center in San Bernardino, California. LA Blaze able to rally back and answer nicely after a pretty bad beat in the first, going down 25-17. They answered back in a late game push. Teams were even at 16, or they were at 16-13. got even at 20-20, and then a variety of timeouts getting called there. LA Blaze, though, able to weather the Freedom Storm. Things are looking good. See if they can keep that energy up here. But Noah, you were getting a little bit done of the sideline investigation during that break. What'd you see?
Yeah, Nick, so I was letting that play finish out, and what a swing. From the side of the Freedom, it's no secret that Jake Vanegas, he's struggling right now, and he's being targeted by the Blaze. Coming back from that knee injury, it's a little bit expected. But what's interesting about him coming back today is that his Freedom team has no subs. So no matter how hard he's struggling, he is staying in this game. So it's kind of being thrown into the fire with nothing really, no other backup plan. And I talked to Coach Carlo Edra before the game, and he said that might actually ease the pressure, knowing, you know, if you shank a couple balls hitting the net, you're not getting subbed out. So while he is struggling and he is kind of having those errors here and there, it's giving himself the opportunity to kind of work through it and get back to that form that he can play at.
Yeah, it could not be more right. Sometimes that confidence is just all it takes. But right now, LA Blaze is full of confidence, and that is the man right there. Aponte scoring kill number 8. A big-time swinging approach right there.
Aponte's attack percentages have definitely gone through the roof here through the end of set number 2 and now to start off set number 3. He's been a huge reason behind this surge from LA Blaze.
That swing brings him to 500 as an undersized outside. That is an impressive clip. Cuevas with an athletic jump kept alive by the block there. Norman swings back and uses Rafa Cruz. The headband says, "Let freedom ring," as he sends that one off the block. Buffum tries to break Aponte and gets a pretty good result with his float serve, but a great dig as well. A recycle from Vanegas. He gets a second attempt. Down the line, a little bit of off speed is too much for Bastida.
Well, that was a veteran swing right there from the left sider, especially in transition. He gets sneaky, showing all cross court and then turning it down the line for the point.
Backside gets another opportunity, and there it is. Cuevas, the answer. 3-3 teams right now both feel like they're passing well, which is leading to easy offensive points. This is the good side-out volleyball that you want to see from both these teams. No one making the errors and just earning good points. Free ball coming, easy scoring opportunity. Lenore involved. Lenore misses uncharacteristically. A little bit of a misconnection there. Definitely wants that one back. Norman keeps that one alive, doesn't get the toss he wants, but Cruz just wipes that. And man, that is exactly what you want to see from an outside hitter. What you don't want to see is Bastida. Something didn't go right there. It looks like a knee movement. He's got a knee sleeve on there. I don't know if he banged knees or what it is. Looks like he's still going to be good to go. Backup setter Marcus Buggs getting ready to go in case he might be needed.
Well, that'd be an unfortunate injury if Bastida can't continue, but he's going to stay on the court. We'll see how that shakes out throughout this one.
Cuevas with a big float serve. Triple block goes off the head of Lenore. Sends that one out into the stands there. No chance to bring it back. We're going to see a double sub coming in here. Charles Belvin will replace Bastida, and that's going to mean Marcus Buggs replaces Cuevas. maybe in a chance here to give Bastida a chance to kind of get his knee right. You don't want him front row maybe, but Noah, I'm sure we'll find out a little bit more for what's going on over there. Bastida actually heads over right away to get checked out, so that's the answer, is heading over, and so a double sub here to see what the option is.
Now, fortunate timing for LA Blaze to be able to pull off that double sub in this rotation. Let's hope Mikhail's okay over there.
Lenore blocked back from Burrell after Massanet absolutely dimes that monster serve. Quick note there, Taryn Rodriguez, appreciate that. I'll let our team know that Sasquatch got that win statted to them. Definitely not the case in that afternoon set as Utah took care of business, so appreciate the feedback.
Nice side out that time by Team Freedom. Good pass set hit combination. All starts with a pass. Team Freedom really passing the ball well throughout the entirety of this match.
They really have been, and you know, Blaze has been a bit more consistent this set so far as well. And while Damani Lenore missed one and got blocked once, he's definitely been available, and they get the kill here as, you know, to start that one. They're really showing that he is the point of emphasis. So even if he's getting slowed down, they're going to find their way to set him and earn his points. Joe Norman cannot be stopped, though. The big answer on the right side, number 16. Front row, back row does not matter. Matt Elias connecting with him very well. Good pass from Aponte. Belvin wasting no time, but a big one-handed lip there from Cunningham. There it is, Belvin excited and wasting no time off the bench to get a big, big swing.
Huge swing down the line by the lefty Belvin. It really changes the dynamic that Team Freedom's block and defense has to pay attention to. Belvin, the lefty, high jumper, big swinger.
There's the big jump serve toss. Puts the pressure on. Cunningham battles with it well. Norman on the outside. A little bit of a miscommunication, I think. That would have been a tough dig to make, but
That was a fairly good deflection off the block. You'd like to see at least one or two of your guys dive for the ball.
Yeah.
Especially after that serve from Belvin.
Lucky bailout there. Roeder recycles. Back set to Belvin. Easy dig for Elias, and now Norman gets a chance. Sets that one over. Tight pass, though. Wow, Marcus Buggs making magic happen out of nothing.
Coach Edras very upset that the officials didn't see LA Blaze were out of rotation to prepare that, before service of that ball.
But I don't know that he was out of rotation in the sense that, you know, guys were able to grab him and Wilson Aponte and throw him back, so he was between of the people that he needed to be. While he looked very lost, obviously, there, I don't think that he was physically out, so I don't know. No call means that's all that mattered at that point.
Yeah, and they follow it up with a service error, unfortunately, for LA Blaze.
Ten to 8, 2-point lead with Buffum serving does not bode well for LA Blaze. Cruz with a left-handed swing. Belvin now swinging below the tape, and that's going to be a point for Team Freedom. Rafa Cruz tries to hammer angle, and just like that, we're starting to see LA Blaze getting a bit disheveled, maybe off the back of an injured Bastida, but hard to know exactly.
Yeah, hard to tell. That was just a little bit of a misconnection there. And LA Blaze decides to call a timeout to talk it over.
And we'll talk a little bit more about it when we get back. 12-8, we'll be back here, set number 3 underway. Don't go anywhere. During that timeout, little talk about that out of system, and the ref and crew all agreeing that definitely not pretty, but the quick thinking of Ricky Massanet grabbing a Ponte there kept them in system, or at least in rotation. Always like to see the officials just having those discussions on the tight calls. Rafa Cruz, the smooth operator there, gets a hold of the outside hand of Norman, scoring a point and taking advantage of the timeout. LA Blaze so far has been quite good about using their timeouts and answering back effectively out of them. Roeder putting some spice on that serve, but misses just wide. Easy call for our officiating crew, though, and that 4-point lead for Freedom returns.
And to touch on that Bastida injury, I talked to him while he was getting work done with the trainer, and he's now walking away. It's a hamstring injury, he had some KT tape on it, but he told me, just a little one, and I'll be back in.
There it is, vote of confidence. Love to see it. Noah, always providing us dimes of information. Also, shout out KT Tape, proud sponsor of the NVA, keeping half these guys taped together at every joint possible. Marcus Buggs has been handling the hands in the absence of Bastida. Been with the team since its inception in 2020, sometimes the starter, sometimes a backup, but always been a reliable option. Norman tries to set that one over, and he sets it out of bounds. Got to keep that one alive if that's your option.
Yeah, you got to keep that in play. That's an inexcusable error that time from Joe Norman. Put the ball deep in the corner. Make sure it stays in bounds.
Marcus Buggs putting a lot of heat on that float serve. And there it is. Norman at his very best when he's getting his swing and not have to worry about the two-handed set over. Good kill from the big man. Vanegas leaves that one short. Cruz with the float. Oh, the net feels like it might be too high for both of these teams based on the last couple serves.
Yeah, a little lapse in concentration there from the servers.
Tight set. Wow, Belvin bailing Marcus Buggs out. Wipes that one off the hands. Jesus Serrano not here this weekend. About halfway through the season, the Mexican national team, and he basically came to a meeting of the minds. So he's been training with them down in Mexico, which has made him unavailable for a lot of the season. So his successes have kind of pulled him away from the team, and they're feeling it. But that was just a quick aside as to why we've seen some of the recycling. That was one of the priorities in the offseason for the LA Blaze of who to pick up. But Charles Belvin absolutely skying. Man, having both Belvin and Lenore feels like a cheat code, how high they both jump. Gravity doesn't apply the same.
No, it doesn't. Belvin and Lenore on the same side of the net. I'd like to see them have a little competition on who jumps higher, actually.
Yeah, throw Johnson in there and just from the Tyrants, and that's just going to be an absolute comedy show as they all just fly. Aponte, the off blocker there, reverses it. Belvin manages swing, but barely keeps that one in. Nice dig from Massanet. Ooh. Bugs doing his best to keep that one alive. That's almost one you hope maybe he waits for it to go into the net and try to play it out, but that's not really any easier. Just a tough one there.
Yeah, tough timing in there. And, your first instinct is to go get it and play it and then not let it come out of the net, but unfortunate there for Blaze. Oh, followed up by a service ace.
The 4-point lead feels like it's been the story of the second half of this set so far. Bit of an easy lollipop for Massanet, and Roeder takes care of business. A lot of the times you can look at the quality of the serve and know the outcome of the point.
Yeah,
very quickly.
Much so, definitely.
Usually you want to see a team that is siding out effectively, sides out about 70 to 75% of the serves. And I think that both these teams are quickly approaching that. Great dig by Belvin. He gets the bump set, and he swings that one into the corner. A huge transition point for Belvin. He's having himself a match off the bench right now.
A great scoop by Belvin, and then a very casual bump set from the libero Massanet, and Belvin delivering on that one out of the back row for the point.
Middle attack goes wide, and just like that, Freedom is handing out some freebies. 17-18, Blaze now down by just one.
It's a tough hitting error for Buffum and Freedom, just missing that wrist away swing.
Uncharacteristic hitting error too. He's been having himself quite a match. One-handed set, and there it is, back to back. Middle blocker by way of the outside. Steven Roeder gets it done for the second time, stopping Buffum in a one-on-one blocking opportunity. Tied at 18, we're gonna take a quick breather as Freedom tries to figure out a solution to the problem that is the LA Blaze. We'll be right back. Feels like a bit of the story of this match for both teams, developing 3 to 4 point leads and then watching them slip away. Then they call a timeout and reverse it right back. So we'll see how Freedom is able to answer back here.
In that same trajectory, Nick.
But huge, I mean, at set number 2 at 20-20, the teams tied it up. Now we're at 18-18 tied up. Good block touch from Bugs, slows that down. Belvin is the option. One-handed dig from Cunningham. Bugs takes the first ball. Rafa tip over the top. Elias reads it like a book. Bump set. Vanegas has to manage, and manage he does.
It's an unfortunate play for LA Blaze. Great effort, and the defense of Cunningham with the one-handed stab dig of the match so far. Even though it went over, kept the ball alive, and Freedom win the point.
Aponte with a good ball. Easy dig for Buffum. Burrell in transition, and Roeder cannot handle the heat on that one. I mentioned it a bit earlier. The one thing that LA Blaze last year, they had the likes of Greg Faulkner, they had Pedro Nieves, Jonathan Rodriguez, all three unable to return this season. So they've had two non-middle blockers in Damani Lenore and Roeder stepping in. So it's impressive what they do all the same, but while they excel offensively, sometimes the defensive side of the game is a little bit inexperienced. Tight pass, Norman uses all of his size, finds the line on that one. Norman definitely thankful for all of his height on that swing. And that's going to be a timeout, and we just talked about it. One team gives up their 3 to 4 point lead, has a timeout, and they answer back. And just like clockwork, Freedom now 3 points ahead.
Game of runs, Nick.
And now the timeout for the LA Blaze. So we'll have to see how this one transpires right after a brief break. Well, you know, in moments like this, you find your go-to hitter and you absolutely ride them. And I think in the case of the LA Blaze, you're going to see Charles Belvin getting a lot of sets. Rafa Cruz finds that one out of system. Vanegas tips over the triple block. Bugs throws it down but catches the net just barely on the way by. So far, it hasn't mattered which setter is in for LA Blaze. Both of them very offensively minded. And if there's a tight ball on two, it's going over.
Yeah, but got a net violation on Bugs there as that setter dump attempt was successful, but net point.
Cruz gets another one. Buffum with another dig, and Burrell in transition. I feel like we've said that recipe one too many times.
It has been the winning recipe for Freedom for a lot of those long rallies, as we're going to see Blaze return with that double sub now.
So Bugs and Belvin exit with Bastida and Cuevas returning down by 5. We'll have to see the health of Bastida's hamstring. But Buffum continues on. And that's going to pull a net from Bastida, or over in that case. I thought I saw a net, but all the same, the service pressure from Matt Buffum just getting the job done. Rafa Cruz blocked, and just like that, Freedom ends this one with some authority, 25-18. Bit of an exclamation point and cleaning that one up nicely. We'll be right back to see set number 4. here, Matt, that was one that went from an 18-18 split to 7 points in a row. Just ripped that off. What felt like it was going to be a battle turned into a bit of a massacre there.
Yeah, it did. Credit to Team Freedom, really able to turn the gas on right there at the end of that set to take it away. And like you said, 7 straight points, Nick, is quite a run to have to finish off a set, especially when you were tied at 18 points apiece, and then to win in such a dominating fashion by Team Freedom. LA Blaze now up against it. Okay, they've got to find that, that right lineup. They've put Bastida back in. We'll see if he can, kind of maintain that energy that they had in set number 2, but Blaze really got to find themselves here.
They certainly do, and we see Belvin return to the starting lineup. A commit block from Roeder is no match for the offensive prowess of Buffum in the middle. We're saying his name quite a bit today.
Wow, the middle attacking continues to be the winning recipe, Nick, like we talk about for Freedom. Passes there, they have to go quick.
Roeder tries to get involved. Buffum is block touch deflected. Cruz hammers it through the hands of Buffum there. That was one of the interesting things, Team Freedom, this offseason. They've got such a large collection of players in New Jersey and just on the eastern, seaboard in general, that they've had a lot of their players kind of on loan or participating with other teams. And this year they finally brought them all home. So Buffum, Burrell, Cap, Milnazic, all coming back from Chicago Untouchables, bringing along the likes of Paul Balanzic as well. It just means this team's depth is astronomical compared to what it's been in years past. Joe Norman ends that point with authority, though. Big swing into the corner. And a great kill with Freedom off to a 2-1 lead. Back set to Belvin. Hammers it down the line. Vanegas gave him a ball, and he hit it. Huge swing. That's the second time we've seen Belvin find that. Loving the connection right now he's seeing with Bastida.
It's a promising start for LA Blaze when they're able to get Belvin activated from the right side, and now he'll go back to the inline and serve, see if he can reel off a couple of points from the service line as well.
Belvin hammers that one, sends it long. A little bit of a callback, Matt, to what you were talking about earlier with serving responsibilities, especially early on in a match. Let your guys with the big arms go green light. So I'm okay with that miss from Belvin, because if he gets hot, that's going to be a problem for Freedom.
Definitely, yeah, but you want to work yourself into it as well. Find the court on your first one and see if you can continue to ramp it up, but there's a nice quick attack by Blaze to find the floor as well.
Cunningham with a great pass. Goes outside to Vanegas. A soft block touch. Try to slow it down there for Bastida, but not enough. And way too much heat. It's going to be a great point for Freedom. Bump set to the outside. Aponte swinging, but an easy dig for Cunningham. Norman. Nice dig by Rafa Cruz. Good reset. And Bastida goes to Aponte once again. dig goes deep and way too much heat on that. Aponte returning. We haven't said his name too much recently after carrying Blaze through the first 2 sets.
It'll be interesting to see how this set continues. Freedom trying to close this match out if they win this set. Blaze really having to force it to 5. So this will be interesting. Free ball here.
Takes Bastida out. It's a good location from Norman. And a block off the head. Resets. Bastida on 2, bringing the heat. Man, he might have missed that first one short in the net, but he has not been having troubles with the ones following up. I think he felt that one, though, loading up those hamstrings.
It's got to be tough. You can tell Bastida is such a competitor, the 6'5" setter out of Cuba. Wants to win, but is also battling his legs a little bit. Can't really jump on the block.
Reaching back on the block, sent some chaos for Freedom. And Aponte late to try and help out in the middle. Means that Tom Burrell's going to score that one pretty easily. Perfect pass. A little bit of a mislocation on the set. Put that one back behind Aponte. Tough break. You really want to see that connection. Vanegas hammering that ball. And Aponte answers back through the triple block using the hands of Burrell. Six to 7, LA Blaze start to close up that gap down by 1. Good pass from Milnazic means that Burrell is in system. Jake definitely ready for that that pass to go his way. He's been having to air out a lot of these passes right around 15 foot, trying to kind of battle with the tough serves while he gets back in a sense of rhythm.
Yeah, that serve just too easy from LA Blaze, and Freedom once again utilizing their middle attackers to score the point. Right side set too tight, but then we have a net violation called on Freedom's blockers. So point goes to LA Blaze.
Burrell had a nice defensive move there, but I think it was a jersey on the turn there for Buffum potentially, but Joe's been all over at our R2 on the net calls and making sure everyone's staying clean. Rafa Cruz, nice off blocker defense and a kick dig. Oh no. Some aggravation there. That one came back hot at Rafa Cruz. If he had just let that maybe go over his head, I think someone else could have been a lot more ready, but Massanet with a great little kick dig.
His teammates weren't ready for it to come back like that.
No. Belvin covered by Roeder's head. This one's got to go. Aponte loses that one. Elias targeting Aponte. Belvin, big swing into the corner. Just using every bit of the floor there.
Yeah, you got to give credit to Team Freedom using all 29.5 feet to find the very corner, the coffin corner, Nick.
That was
that block.
That was, wasn't it? If you're Belvin, you're praying. He just gets a little bit more legs and just keeps running. Massanet bumps that. That one's over, and Joe Norman just pings that one down. 12-7 serving pressure right now from Matt Elias. Gets a timeout earned from the LA Blaze. 5 points. This could be the beginning of the end, Matt, but we'll have to see how it unfolds after this. We'll be right back. Well, Matt, looks like the LA Blaze is battling a bit of an uphill spot right now. What are you seeing? Is there a chance that they fight their way back in? What's it going to take?
I mean, we've seen throughout this match that it's a game of runs, Nick. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Blaze can pull back and at least tie it up, but they have to be consistent enough to take it into the business, into the set, and pull off the set victory, or else it's going to get away from them really quickly. So that's a nice side out by them from Belvin on the right side. But they're going to need a few more points and to get that emotion back on their side as well.
I don't think you could have hit that more on the head. And I think one of the concerns right now, Aponte definitely being the target, and he has been struggling in serve receive for the last couple points. So he'll have to clean that up. Vanegas misconnection. Bastida is out. Belvin off of Roeder and disguises that one. Absolutely rolls that over the top of the massive block of Buffum and Norman. 6'8" and 6'10" over there. Just speaks to how high Belvin is jumping in that he's able to just roll that over the top. And now an overpass thrown back, and just like that, the game of runs is underway. 3 points answered back straight in a row. This is looking good for LA Blaze if they can keep it rolling. Wow, Belvin out jousting Joe Norman, wipes that one back.
Well, Joe Norman needs a little help from his teammates to get a block cover on that. That ball came all the way across, fell down between Buffum and Elias. That ball's got to get picked up by Team Freedom.
The amount of 4-point runs that have after timeouts into the next timeouts, I think this is the 4th or 5th one. It's been almost predictable in a sense. Exactly. Feels like there's some script writers upstairs calling how this one's gonna go.
Yep.
Well, take a breather. We'll be right back here in about 30 seconds, so don't go anywhere. All right, so I think that means that, Matt, based on the way this has been going, so 3 to 4 point run incoming for New Jersey Freedom?
Yeah, precisely. That should be, if history repeats itself, what will be happening over the next 4 to 5 points.
Good pass by Cunningham. And there it is, Buffum starting it off early, wasting no time. The efficiency from both of these teams on timeouts.
Through the middle after the timeout, based off the perfect pass by Team Freedom. Scores the point.
Nazik targeting Cruz, and Belvin. I like that. It's Belvin's world, we're just living in it. It's a pretty funny comment in the chat right there. Feels very true, and we talked about the importance of Belvin finding some consistency, and he's been able to do it so far. I think that this is the part of the game where Blaze maybe starts increasing his set load and see if you can kind of approach, you know, that Equinox level of how efficient versus error prone he gets. Inside set to Cruz, covered by Aponte. Nice block there from Norman, doing a good job. He's been doing a fantastic job of getting over on the blocks and making sure that he's corralling the Blaze pins back into the court.
Joe Norman will be the difference maker throughout the rest of this match here, as his block and defense can be a huge factor. There's a nice play, but a back over on 2, off the block and down.
Blaze calling for a double. So the conversation here is that, and I actually agree with LA Blaze. So Daniel Vanegas jumped, landed, and he had his hands up. So that first contact, he wasn't above the net, I don't think that, and he's on the ground. I don't think that's considered a blocking move. So they're saying it's a double because he jumped, pumped, and threw the ball down. That would be 2 contacts.
It depends on if his hands were above the top of the net.
And from what I'm seeing, they weren't when I rewatched that, but that's an interesting one. Very rare to see that play because you'll see guys jump, block touch, and the ball
actually
comes up.
surprised that this is being challenged because I didn't think it was a challengeable call.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it is challengeable because, you know, we talk about block touches are challengeable, so this is on the net. I don't know. We're in some uncharted territory, so our referee team having a bit of a chat here. We'll keep you in the loop. Noah Chast wasting no time getting his ear over there.
Man on the scene right now. It's awesome.
Definitely speaks to the advantage, you know, having all of you guys on the broadcast team, everyone bringing their knowledge, their experience. All right, the team scatters back to their respective corners, and we're going to get some news. That's going to go to Freedom. The call will stand. LA Blaze going to be less than thrilled about this, but right now, the whole name of the game is they've got to keep their energy going the way they want it. You cannot let the calls dictate the way you're playing the game. Noah, you got a little energy or a little insight for us here?
Yeah, just sprinted over. I'm winded. I do have some insight. They basically were saying that it's a judgment call whether he was above the plane of the net or not, and that's not challengeable. So the Blaze were saying that was two separate touches, and that he was below the net and they were two separate. But the call on the floor was a judgment call that he was over the net, and you can't challenge that referee's judgment call.
All right, well, there's the answer. Good pass from Rafa Cruz. Belvin ripping down the line, earns that point right back, and that's what I want to see. I want to see the teams answer back with their play and not get wrapped up in the call.
Yeah, that's what they have to do, especially at this stage of the match. They can't let the referees' choices or calls really influence the way that they play. Score the point and be ready to move forward.
Matt Elias, man, the middles from Freedom just continue to amaze. Coming into this third set, Freedom is passing right around to 70%. That means they are in system way too much for
Freedom.
Freedom.
Credit to Jake Milnazic with that perfect pass.
Yeah.
That time, right on the money for Elias to go to Burrell through the middle.
(16-13), 3 points with Norman on the service line could mean trouble, but a perfect pass. Swing deep, no one home to cover. Matt Elias gets another one on the right side.
Now, very tense moments now for LA Blaze, Nick. Another block into the blockers and then deep into the court for a point.
And it's just like that. Chapa and I made eye contact as he says, yep, I'm going to take the timeout. So that means we're going to take a brief break, and when we get back, LA Blaze will score 4 points straight if anything is to be consistent. So we'll be right back. Down by 4, LA Blaze. That mountain is once again in front of them, but as we have seen almost every game so far in this match, right around 18-20, the teams tie it up and then the late game gets underway. So we'll see if they can make their move right now. They have some time to close the distance, but the serving pressure of Joe Norman might just douse those flames. But like clockwork, the missed serve proves that the timeout was efficient.
And let's see if LA Blaze can hold to their routine of scoring a couple of points after that timeout, Nick, like you were saying. Now or never, really. Oh. It's an unfortunate service error for Blaze from Damani Lenore. Lenore's been relatively quiet in this match. Not a lot of set opportunities for him.
Back row from Cruz. A stab there from Vanegas to try to keep that one alive. Cruz still consistently contributing offensively. They're gonna need more of that if they want to fight their way back in. Bastida no longer jump serving, I assume, given the need for, playing the point as well as his leg hurting. Overrule. Line judge called out, but Pat Bradley, our R1 up ref, called that in by a pretty significant amount, and no contestation there from the Blaze. They saw it the same way. That serve goes just long. Ponte short, but an in system means Buffum does what Buffum does best. He is just carrying the load offensively, and it speaks to just how good the passing has been from Freedom.
Yeah, that's another great pass and a good, quick attempt through the middle to score that point. LA Blaze really having a hard time slowing down the Freedom middles.
Belvin blocked back and kept alive. This one's got to go. Massanet sends it and takes Elias out. Roll shot over the top. That one falls in the middle of the court. Jake Milnazic, a little extra zhizh on that one as he finds the middle.
LA Blaze running a little action through the middle there that time for the point.
.4 points. Roeder seeing if he can make that run happen right now. High set to Norman. That ball goes just long. A good swing on a tough ball to execute, but
that was a really good set from way off the net.
Yeah. Elias tracks it down. Milnazic step close, hammers into the corner. Milnazic and Elias are unstoppable. A nice little move right there from 8 and 13.
What a swing by Milnazic.
Yeah.
Something he's been doing on the beach courts on the East Coast for sure. Sand courts, grass courts, all the courts that he plays on out there. But a nice step close and a big swing for that point.
Ooh, just wide. Rafa Cruz watches that one all the way out. Belvin with a big toss. Wills that one over the tape. And Vanegas blocked back, good cover. Vanegas gets a second chance, blocked again, but this one, way too much power, sends it out the back of the court. Vanegas has been having himself a nice consistent match. Marcus Buggs coming in will complete the 6-2 substitution, replacing Belvin and Bastida with Cuevas and Buggs. 23-19, 4 points. This is feeling a bit over and in the books. Aponte swings, easy dig in transition. Tom Burrell, the middle's getting it done. Team Freedom, man. Matt Seifert's been the name all year long. Doug Zema having stellar performances. Paul Bolonzik has just been a monster, and now Buffum and Burrell have taken this match over. Lenore low set has to tip that one. Back set. Norman swings, covered. And now Burrell again. He is unstoppable. 25-19. The Freedom maintain their perfect record at 7-0, and LA Blaze falls to 3-4. Matt, that was definitely an exciting match, and it's crazy to go back and look at the scores because there was just so much, back and forth on those runs. But wow, the middles for Freedom. What a story.
What a story for sure. Team Freedom, Thomas Burrell and Matt Buffum, just not only in serve reception, but also in transition, the counterattacking, and the wherewithal of Matt Elias, the setter for Team Freedom, to be able to feed those guys through the middle to score those points really turned out to be a huge telltale sign of the differences between those two teams.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I love so much about watching both of these guys, as they're engaged in the matches, the digs, the serving, like there is no part of their game that leaves you lacking.
Right.
So it's just, they're a complete package.
So even though Team Freedom didn't have Paul Bolonzik, didn't have Matt Seifert, they worked really well with the middles they had. Joe Norman had a nice match as well. Yep. And then really Jake Milnazik coming in nicely, passing the rock right where it needed to be so their offense could still click on all cylinders. It was a very nice, well-rounded match by Team Freedom.
Yeah, this is kind of what we've been talking about this weekend, is some of these teams shorthanded a bit here at this fourth event, but the team identity perseveres, right? It's still, Team Freedom has always been that complete package.
Yeah.
So Daniel Vanegas, a new member to the squad.
Absolutely.
And some of these guys have been playing with Team Freedom for the better part of a decade now. And so for him to kind of just slot in, there is very much a family feel for a lot of these guys. So to see them, or to see him slotting in there, has been pretty awesome how quickly he's done it. And they needed him, and just in time there. We're looking right now at the stat sheet as we see the offensive load. I'm dying to see it for Team Freedom in the middle. 18 kills for Norman, 10 for Burrell, and 11 for Vanegas. And
9 for Buffum.
9 for Buffum. So definitely a heck of a contribution from these guys, but looks like Buffum is the man of the match, contributing offensively, defensively, service runs, just the rock for that team and that performance. We're going to throw it over to Noah on the sideline. Noah, take it away.
Oh, thank you, Matt. I'm here with Matt Buffum. Stuff 'em, buff 'em, and it's not Monday, but it certainly was a day for the middles. You and Thomas were on fire today. What was working?
We just felt good. We have a good connection with Matt Elias, and we knew that given the personnel that we had, that we would be successful in the middle. We wanted to make sure we really worked on that. Matt feeds the middle really well. He got us moving all over the place. Tom's a machine. It was awesome. We just felt like we were rolling, and by doing that, we were able to get one-on-ones for the pins and get a bunch of kills over there too. Awesome team win. Huge team win today. Big ups to my guys. Big ups to my guys.
And this Blaze team has a lot of talent, and they're a team that can challenge you and did challenge you. How did you bounce back and close this one out?
I think our phrase of the day was angry energy. I don't really know what that means per se, but you just get out, stay businesslike, stay focused, but get a little angry, hit the ball hard, don't let them put the ball down on us. They kept challenging us. After that second set, when we went up a little bit and we choked, we had to come back, compartmentalize, and say, hey, we're not letting this happen again. It started to happen again. We came together. We said, no more. We just stayed focused, picked each other up, put some balls down. Had a great game.
You and Thomas, nearly 20 combined kills, missing Seifert, missing Bolonzik. I mean, what does this just say about the depth and strength of your middle core?
I'm going to say we have the deepest middles in the league, and I think we've got 5 middles that could start on most of the teams, if not all of the teams in the league, and we're good in the middle. I think everybody knows that now. So I don't have much to say other than we got great setters that feed the middle. We got good blockers. It's a great time.
We'll consider this an unofficial Middle Monday here on Saturday at NVA Event 4 Day 2. I'll send it back to you guys, Nick and Matt.
Hi, Mom. I just blacked out.
To have a word about the power of their middles corresponding, but I think he's very right in that
No, it does
sense.
bring up a very good point. They do have some strong middles for Team Freedom. I personally am thinking, well, we'll see about that in the next event when Stunners play Team Freedom, and that'll be a good matchup there.
That's going to be a heck of a
nice
match.
Battle through the middle for both of those programs as well.
Well, that's going to do it for us. Up next, we have our noon match. That's going to be the Las Vegas Ramblers as they take on the 1-6 Chicago Untouchables, who are desperately fighting for a win here. So don't go anywhere. Join us back at noon. There's going to be plenty more great volleyball today. I'm Nick England. This is Matt Prosser. We had Noah Chass on the sidelines. We'll see you back here.